Keep it short. That's all I've been hearing. You know what? Why is it that everybody always talks about my penalty minutes? Like I was a pure sniper, goal scorer. Like I don't get it. Good evening, everybody. It's great to be back in Penticton. It's been a great couple days, and I'm sure if I can last the next couple with my kids here. Oh my gosh, I've been chasing them around for 4 days. But thank you, Jack. My second year in Milwaukee, Jack was the head coach. And we worked together again in Syracuse in '94. He was a great coach. He taught me a lot, and he was an even better teammate. He was always first at the door when you're going out onto the rink, always pumping the boys up. And he gave us a lot of confidence when we went into some tough buildings, because everybody knew if things started to get ugly, Bucky would clear the road. He was a great guy to play for. It's an honor to be inducted in the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, especially alongside these guys, Marcus, Rob, Cam, the Canada Winter Games champions, Freddie, some great people, good people to listen to tonight, and some great presentations, And I'd like to thank Bernie Pascal and Bruce Judd, how hard these guys work setting this up and giving us this opportunity to come out. And the entire selection committee for including me this year in this class of 2015. Red Rooster Winery last night was incredible. The view, the wine, and the chance to see some people I haven't seen for a long time and spend some time with my crew, my family. I got a lot of family here for this event. Yeah, there they are. Believe me, it gets worse. Anyway, when I got this call from Stan, I was blown away. This is a huge honor for me and my family, and I thought I should give you a little background of how I got here, but after listening to a very impressive introduction last night by Dixon Ward, you probably know more about me than I do. So I'm going to pass right on that. You know what? I grew up in Winnipeg till I was 9. My mother was a figure skater. My dad was a hockey player, so it was only a matter of time until I was on skating. I started skating when I was 3 years old on the frozen creeks and ponds, just like every other Canadian kid. Growing up playing outdoors, I don't even remember feeling cold, but now I wear a sweatshirt in our practice building in Dallas, Texas, and I'm just a wimp. We moved from Winnipeg to North Vancouver when I was 9. My parents purchased a house 2 blocks away from the North Shore Winter Club. Moving to the West Coast has its advantages. All the rinks are indoors in BC, and my brothers and I took full advantage of it. I remember playing in the Quebec Pee Wee tournament. It was a great experience for all of us. Our team got to meet Gordie Howe at the airport, and we couldn't believe it. A year later, we won the international tournament, or Bantam tournament in Kamloops. We received gold medals from the Prime Minister, and after our coach let us have a beer, it was great. A couple of guys I played with are here tonight. Mike Will and Brent O'Connor, they got their awards with the team here tonight, and I played with those guys back then, and in the early days in minor hockey, and it was awesome to see him again tonight. I started getting serious about hockey when I was about 14, and I went to try out for the Vancouver Nats. I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but I was very disappointed when I was the last one cut, but I think my mom and dad were pretty relieved. A year later, Terry Martin brought Mark Lofthouse and myself up to play for the Kelowna Buckaroos when I was 15. The owner and GM of the Bucks all those years ago that started me on this hockey path is here tonight. Wayne North and his wife Marg are sitting right down here. Thanks a lot, Wayne, for getting me started. Now, all this tough guy stuff and all this stuff, in my first year, early in the season, I was introduced to fighting when I was 15. My first fight was against a bigger, older player in Penticton, right here at the old rink. I thought he looked old enough to be my dad. He absolutely beat the daylights out of me. That was my official welcome to the BC Junior Hockey League. I played with great teammates then, Lofty, Murray Hansen, Archie McKinnon, Buck Owens, and the Costanzo boys. Then I turned 16 and was off to try out for the Tier 1 Victoria Cougars under Coach Pat Janelle. Now, Dennis Bayak was the play-by-play man, long-term sports and TV host. Everybody knows here Paul Carson was covering the team on TV, and we were all there together that year. We kind of grew up together. Our first inter-squad scrimmage was at the old Vic Memorial Arena. I thought I had better do something, to make the team, so opening face-off, when the puck dropped, I dropped the gloves. I went after the only guy that made sense. He was going to be the first overall pick that year to the Philadelphia Flyers, Mel Bridgman. Not the smartest thing I ever did. It started a full bench-clearing brawl. It's all our guys. It's an inter-squad game. So the police were coming down on the ice. The sold-out crowd was watching this. The mayor was unhappy, and welcome to the Western Hockey League. Well, it seemed to all work out because I made the team and I played with a lot of good players. Jeff Courtnall that year was our stick boy. That's how long ago I played for those guys. I thought I was the luckiest guy in the world, to play minor hockey, junior hockey near my hometown, but then to get drafted by the Canucks was real special. My first training camp, the team was undergoing a lot of changes. With the new coach, Harry Neal, spots on the roster were up for grabs. That was good for Stan Smeal and myself, but not so good for the veterans that were still used to coming to camp to get in shape for the season. We were the first wave of players that would come to camp in top shape, hungry and prepared to do whatever it took to make the team. Well, Thomas Gradine, Stan, and myself were put together on a line right away, and we really wanted to make the team. We were used to fighting and battling from our junior teams, the New Westminster Bruins and the Victoria Cougars. When the puck dropped the first shift, we played the way we used to. Stan dumped the puck in one corner, ran over the defenseman. The puck came around over to my wing. I crashed into the other defenseman in the corner. He gave me a whack on the pads and said, "Hey, cool it." I turned around and drilled him as hard as I could in the forehead with the butt end of my stick. He skated back to the bench. He's covered in blood. So Stan and I came back to change, and we had to skate by these guys, and all you heard from the veterans was, "Hey, kids, whoa, slow down." We had no idea what was going on. We thought we were here to make the team. The first exhibition game against the LA Kings in Victoria, we wore those gorgeous blue, green, and white uniforms. Unfortunately, my first game as a Canuck, I remember walking into the Pacific Coliseum, walking into the locker room, and for the first time we saw in our stalls those new uniforms with the black, red, and yellow V. I think the idea behind it was intimidating color scheme to scare the opponent. Well, all it did was scare the hell out of us. My Canuck teammates were excellent and were always playing pranks on each other. Once we had a few days off in Toronto, so the team went out and on the town and we had a good time. We got back late and I passed out pretty quick. The next thing I remember was our trainer waking me up saying, Curt, what the hell are you doing?" I looked around trying to figure out what was going on. I went to sleep. It was 3 a.m. and I was on the couch in the lobby of the Hotel Toronto in my underwear. Harold Sneps had carried me down and left me there. Another time, Colin Campbell, I'm sure you remember him, he filled our shampoo bottles in the shower with motor oil. That wasn't so easy to get out. I played with tons of great players, Tommy Gradine, Stan Smeal, Tiger, Blair McDonald, Donnie Lever, Jack Mack, Richard Brodeur, and many other great competitors. Harry Neal was our coach. Jimmy Robson called the games. The Griffiths family owned the team. I remember playing in Minnesota early the first year. Chris Odlefson just got in a big fight with Brian Maxwell. He was a big, strong, tough defenseman, and it didn't go so good. Chris got his nose broken, and anyway, what I remember was, and Stan can verify this, coach came down, and he wrapped his arms around Stan and me and said, "Boys, you're up, and I don't want to see you back here for at least 5 minutes." That's my welcome to the NHL. We went and played in Montreal that first year, and Harry thought it would be a good idea if the young players watched the Canadians warm up. I remember we were all sitting there taping our sticks, feeling pretty good about ourselves. After about 2 minutes, the whistle blew and they started flying. They all looked 8 feet tall, and they were skating 100 miles an hour. About 20 minutes later, we came back into the dressing room and had gone from feeling pretty cocky to being scared to death to play these guys. That game, I witnessed one of the best fights I've ever seen in my career. 6'6" Gilles Lupien squared up with Bucky here. There was fur flying everywhere, and when the smoke cleared, Black Jack put a licking on Gilles. We felt a lot better after that to play those guys. Every year we got better and stronger and got to be a pretty good team. The Stanley Cup run was awesome. Unfortunately, we ran into the best team in the league that year in the finals, and I remember coming back after that Islander series. We came home and we were going to have a parade, and we all thought, who's going to come out and see us? We lost. But the whole city showed up. when we got home to welcome us home, and it was fantastic. Following season, things changed, and I was traded to the Chicago Blackhawks. It was the worst day of my life getting traded out of Vancouver. It happened right before the warm-up. Harry called me in and told me I was traded to Chicago. After the game, the whole team and I went out for beers, and a little bit of, it was tough to leave. And the next morning, I was on my way to Chicago. That was a real tough night. Just ask Fred down there. It's not bad to play in Chicago. But I walked into the locker room in the old Chicago Stadium, and there was pictures of Stan Mikito, the Bentley brothers, Bobby Hall, and the rest of the players made me feel right at home. It was really cool. 5 years in Chicago ended up being the best, or some of the best hockey I played in my life. I was very lucky to get to spend my career playing in top-notch markets with great fans. I finished my career in Minnesota in 1990. I wasn't sure what the next step would be following my playing days. That changed pretty quick. I got a call from Brian Burke, which everybody knows here, the assistant GM of the Canucks then, to see if I could play 40 games and be a mentor to the younger players for the Canucks. I couldn't do that, but after meeting with Pat Quinn and Berkey, they asked me if I would be interested in working with Mike Murphy, coaching in the farm team then in Milwaukee. I agreed to it, but really wasn't sure where it would go. However, after my first time on the ice, I was hooked, and now I've been coaching for over 25 years, thanks to Brian Burke and Pat Quinn. My family is sitting here right now. My wife, Rhonda, has put up with this hockey life for 26 years and raised 3 great boys, Casey, Jesse, and Luke. Casey my oldest starts law school next year at SMU in Dallas. Jesse is in marketing, just finishing up in Michigan State, and Luke is starting business at University of Missouri. I'm doing pretty good. Anyway, I really appreciate this honor. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the great teammates, coaches, trainers, and other people I've met through the game. I'm really lucky to have been surrounded by such exceptional people throughout my career. I've been very fortunate to play the world's greatest game. I'm even more fortunate to continue to be involved. There's nothing better than a group of players brought together, working through the team's daily regimen, pushing through the ups and downs, battling through adversity, and together finding ways to win. A great example is my dad's old Flin Flon Bombers team. They won the Memorial Cup in '57. Afterwards, they have a reunion in Manitoba every 10 years. I went to their 30th and 40th year reunions with them, and every single player showed up. It was amazing. It was really cool to see. Winning together builds a bond with people that lasts forever. Guys I've played with are all over the world now, so I don't get to see them a lot or as often as I should. But when I do, it's like not a day has passed. Hockey is a small world, and it's been awesome seeing lots of people back here in BC. Thank you very much for tonight, and have a fantastic weekend.